Let's talk about a unit that I was less excited about than the Blood Knights. Yeah, I mean, it's artillery, but hey, there you go. Have more artillery, traditional, quote-unquote, artillery, anything but that. It's high model count, bolt thrower, of course, basically like the Goblin bolt thrower, but available to Chaos Dwarfs, crewed by Hobgoblins, and Creative Assembly forgot to put a unit cap on it, so some absolute mad lad, Holy Spanner specifically, went on ladder and decided to have some fun. I say ladder, quick battles. And, you know, let's put this thing through its paces. Let's see truly if you take a lot of them. What are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sure, why not? Let's see how they do. Got a sorcerer prophet here, some laborers up front. Not a lot to talk about. Ogres. Got a paymaster. Got butcher of death. Some iron guts. Pigback riders, yeah. I actually didn't realize how thin the patch notes were gonna be. I thought I had just completely missed it, to be honest. But, yeah, I guess they really didn't do many balance changes at all in this patch, which is fine. Yeah, I guess they had a lot of other things to implement from a battle standpoint and, you know, limited staffing and all that. It does seem like a lot of the staff has been pulled to work on whatever new Total War games they have coming out very soon. But as it stands, yeah, the bolt throwers, no unit caps. So hopefully we get some more balance changes in the hotfix that will inevitably add some unit caps to them. But as it stands right now, considering how many of them there are here, the damage is actually surprisingly bad. Balance of Power also just hates the Chaos Dwarfs for doing this right now, so I'm really curious to actually see how this goes at the end of the day, especially with the absolute mad rush of the Blood Vultures. Definitely should split these up and try and attack different ones at the same time, but there you go. They are going to at least start to work through them. This unit of Iron Guts is being focused pretty heavily, taking some damage. There are some Bull Centaur renders as well, kind of hanging around here on the flank. But, yeah, now the damage is starting to come through a little bit more. We see that burning head from the Sorcerer Prophet ripping through the front line. As do the Iron Guts. But Ogre player here definitely needs to split up. Yeah, split up these Blood Vultures. Although even here, like, one of the Bolt Throwers starts to fire at the Blood Vultures. Yeah. We'll do some comparisons after the fact. Look at these guys versus other Bolt Thrower type units. But they're continuing to fire away. Used up about half their ammunition. This unit here, just as a little check-in, yeah, it's about 250 value so far. So I'm guessing these guys are like in the area of like 400, 500 points, which is pretty cheap for artillery. It's nice to have a cheap option for artillery, but not going to be world beaters by any means. We have Bull Centaurs, on the other hand. They're also not necessarily world beaters, although they are in that elite tier. They're sort of middle of the pack when it comes to elite monstrous cavalry, but nonetheless, still enough to cut through those Iron Guts, no problem, weakened as they are. Yeah, looks like the Blood Vultures finally did split up, move out to take out a few of those Bolt Throwers. Yeah, we got the Noblars moving up, throwing daggers at their somewhat distant cousins. Will cash cascade as well for the Ogres as they fight Bull Centaur renders here. But, yeah, the Iron Guts unfortunately did not actually get the benefit of that cash cascade. The Pigback Riders did for a little bit there. They are now going to get a Massacre. Wow. Increase their weapon damage and charge bonus, or, sorry, melee attack. Yeah, a little Spirit Leech there on the Sorcerer Prophet. He moves in, quick tear route, gets rid of those Iron Guts. A little Burning Head smashes both those Trappers. And, yeah, eventually the Bolt Throwers do start to wear through. Vultures are not able to take out all the Bolt Throwers. Like I said, early split on those to come take out, like, the three here in the center that were all close together. I think that probably changes the outcome of this battle, but ultimately... maybe not. I mean, yeah, these Bull Centaurs are always going to be a bit of a problem, but we'll see. Certainly the game's not over yet, especially with the stocked Trappers. But that Burning Head has just been putting in some pretty serious work so far, value-wise. Pretty good. Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. both in melee and at range with that magic. Let's get in close and watch the pigbacks move through. Massacre the hobgoblins. Interesting to see Noblars and the hobgoblins fight. I don't know why. But they're like the Warhammer 3 new kids on the block as far as goblins go. How interesting would it be? I was talking to someone about this the other day. Interesting, yes. Good, absolutely not. But to do an all goblinoids like combined roster, like maybe as like a rogue army in campaign, would be pretty interesting, to be honest. But good, absolutely not. You'd have to probably add in some like trolls or something to actually give them some punch. But it would be interesting. Like, it'd be hilarious if it was a rogue army that just spawned in with like 3 stacks of goblins and noblars and hobgoblins all mixed together. Let's see here. Sorcerer Prophet's moving through, trying to finish off the last of these Iron Guts here. They are quite damaged and broken and whatnot. Butcher of Death also standing here. I love how he's just like standing in this massive cascade of bolt throwers. This arc, I should say. Just chilling here. Gonna be casting another Spirit Leech there on the Sorcerer Prophet. Just getting smacked in the face by that bolt thrower. As the piggyback riders move in, ooh, I don't know. The Ogres, mostly the Noblars, are not going quietly into that good night. But the Paymaster, gonna get terror routed here. A quick little aspect of Dread Knight. He's off the field. He does get actually killed here. That's pretty bad. I don't know if the Noblars could sustain the leadership damage. Daggers come in, though. They're going to do some pretty good work throwing into these Bull Centaurs. Got a couple more waves of the daggers incoming as well. Let's see if they just rout or if they're actually able to get some volleys. Yeah, damage is something. A little bit. Little bit, but no. Their leadership routes as soon as the Piggyback Knights get roasted on a burning head. And that's going to be it. Surprisingly close, considering that he took, like, 11 artillery. But I say surprisingly close. Often, actually... like, you kind of need a critical mass of artillery for mass artillery to be super effective. That's why Slade's meme build, where he takes, like, a bunch of gold rank Hellblasters, for example, like, it seems ridiculous, but actually on paper, increasing your volume of fire, like, getting up to that critical mass, as they would call it, right? It means you have so much volume, your opponent just cannot overcome, and even get close in attack. Here, the Ogres were ultimately able to get close in attack, and I think... despite everything here, some of the bolt throwers are pretty cost effective, it must be said. Some of them pay for themselves. Some of them even probably get close to double their value. I'll have to check that. Some of the sneaky gets do okay, but then obviously the Lord and the Bull Centaur carrying a pretty heavy degree of the burden as well here. And credit to, you know, the Ogres player here. They're faced with a very, very cheesy and tough build to fight against, and they did their best and almost won, to be honest. I do think an early split, like I said on those vultures, to just take out 3, go the 3 in the center instead of just over focusing the 1, maybe is enough to take the win. Definitely a big maybe on that, but nonetheless, definitely a fun one to see. Just, you know, if you overindulge, let's say, on the Hobgoblin Bolt Thrower, how does that look for you? And in terms of the just unit itself here, if we go to Chaos Dwarfs, and I'll pull up the regular green skins so we can compare these to their goblin counterparts. Okay, so 650, it's on a regular basis, I don't know that I would recommend taking these a ton. I mean, I guess if you have the extra little bit of funds and you want some more traditional artillery types, but like, they definitely could pay for themselves at shooting at some higher value kind of single entity type targets. Maybe counter-shooting other artillery, although your range is somewhat limited at 320, just like the Goblin Bolt Throwers, so, you know, we're talking stuff on the range of cannons, or even like the Elf Bolt Throwers have quite a bit more range. Still, it's probably not a cost-effective trade, though. I mean, 4 models at 125, whereas these guys are 8 models at 83, so technically, on paper, right, they do a little bit more DPS, but... obviously, the shots are going to be missing, and therefore, The actual, in practice, DPS could be lower, could be higher, depends on the size of the target, distance, a bunch of different factors there. But anyway, it is an interesting unit to have on the roster. Will it see a lot of regular use? Hard to say. I definitely don't. I don't know. I'm like thinking through different matchups. I'm not a Chaos Dwarf player, main by any means, but maybe those of you guys who would choose to make them, maybe you can let me know in the comments down below. Like, what matchups do you see this doing well into? Maybe, like I said, matchups where you're trying to trade out opponents' artillery, because although I don't know, do Chaos Dwarfs really have problems with that? I mean, they don't really have a ton of traditional artillery on their own, but like, you got some serviceable pieces here, or maybe you kind of use it in tandem with like a Death Streaker, right? So you have a couple more traditional artillery pieces to kind of apply pressure and have them kind of draw some of the bait, whereas the Death Streaker can kind of run around and hit more high value targets. I don't know, I just kind of spitballing here, theory crafting, you could say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any battles on the new patch, feel free to submit them. I don't think the meta will actually change that much. I'm most curious to see kind of vampire counts, you know, kind of how that changes some matchups. I think the Blood Knights have a lot more opportunity to change their meta than these Hobgoblin Bolt Throwers do for the Chaos Dwarfs. But maybe I'm completely wrong about that. Who knows? Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.